thing that appeals to a whole lot of Nigerian politicians about Jonathan is that he's from the South and he's only got a term left. But of course, the controversy subsists, whether or not someone can actually swear to the presidency, take an oath to the presidency 3 times. But of course, the amendment was done after Jonathan had already left office. So by chance, he's still allowed to contest in one way or the other. So this is the circumstance. And so you won't blame someone like Jerry Ghana for saying that he will come. But is he going to come under the PDP? Is PDP good enough for Jonathan to come? Well, that's a question a whole lot of us will answer. And then, of course, you've seen that through the ADC approach that he took.
So now, what would you ask him? What would you think would be best for him to go on the platform of the PDP, which they haven't yet gotten their acts together yet with political internal wranglings, or the newly minted ADC? But do they have enough, awareness, or are people able to recognize the party? And is it good enough for Jonathan if he does intend to run to go on that platform? Which would you advise?
Well, Ayo, PDP is too damaged for a presidential ticket to be given to Jonathan to contest, and he would win. And if you look at what is happening at the moment, you see that the military wing of the Nigerian polity, they've all moved. They are shifting to the ADC. Actually, those who established the PDP in 1998 are majorly military, those within the military apparatchik. And you will see that many of them have already seen that the PDP, PDP is going to be allowed to contest other elections, like governorship and all of that. But in terms of delivering presidential wins, even Jonathan himself knows that the PDP is too damaged at the moment, and it will be a big problem for him to be able to run. Now, I'm thinking that there's an understanding between both parties, because if you go to the ADC now, the ADC was actually registered by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and you had people like Nwosu. They were just placeholders. Look at the history of the ADC very well. You know that it was a placeholder political party that has always been kept in place by former President Olusegun Obasanjo for his allies. So that vehicle was being prepared for Peter Obi, and now Jonathan is coming. Jonathan and Peter Obi, they are all within the same, team of, quote, Obasanjo's boys. And so Obasanjo is going to sit down with them and have, a talk as to what should go on and what should not go. And people like General Gusau will be there to actually help support the final decision on what will happen. But I can tell you that with what's going on right now, PDP won't be a vehicle because, there's a lot of things. There are a lot of things that are happening, and with the Wike factor there, and you will see the fight that's ongoing before the November 16 convention that's happening. A whole lot of things will be too down enough for the PDP to be a vehicle that can either deliver a Jonathan or deliver a Peter Obi. But the good thing about ADC and Jonathan, for example, is that if Jonathan runs under ADC, for example, Peter Obi is likely not to run. And so if it's going to be under the PDP too that Jonathan decides to run, there's a likelihood that Peter Obi may not be able to run, because Peter Obi owes a whole lot of his loyalty to Jonathan. But there's been a consensus among some politicians that Jonathan should step aside and allow people like Obi to actually come in. He looks fresh. Jonathan can work with him and all of that. And then the fear of Jonathan's legacy going down the drain. So a whole lot of things are at play, but Jonathan would have to make the final decision.
It is ridiculous and absolutely ludicrous for when you hear our politicians, the likes of Professor Jerry Ghana, all of these people bandying the name of Goodluck Jonathan back in our faces to tell us that they want Goodluck Jonathan to contest in 2027. The question I want to ask all of you Nigerians is this. What do you think? Do you think Nigeria is yearning for Goodluck Jonathan, or we've moved past Goodluck Jonathan? We've moved past Bola Tinubu. We're talking about asking our politicians to read the temperature in the room. That we are talking, and the entire world can see right now that we have one of the best candidates in Nigeria in Peter Obi. And maybe Omoyele Sowore for those who are supporters. But we're talking about moving away from the 80-something-year-olds, 70-something-year-olds, those people who are now tired, kneecapped, to move into people that are in their 60s in Big Peter Obi, those in their 50s in Omoyele Sowore, people who can withstand the demand of this presidency and the demand of staying up late in the night to orchestrate Nigeria in the right direction. So do you think that we should be looking at Goodluck Jonathan rather than saying that Peter Obi is the one that we want. Remember, young people in Nigeria, the demographic, the highest the population, the demographic population that is the highest in Nigeria, are yearning for younger politicians. So we can transition from these old people, but yet we have those same people who are selfish. That's those same selfish politicians who were there during the Jonathan time, who were there during the Obasanjo's time. These same people who benefited from the corruption that was so pervasive during Goodluck Jonathan's time are the same ones telling us that they want Goodluck Jonathan to come. The Nigerians deserve Goodluck Jonathan. Do you understand what I mean? So do you agree with them? Because the ridiculous nature of this conversation that was still banding the name Goodluck Jonathan to come and be president in Nigeria for Nigeria in 2027 is what makes me feel sorry for Nigeria every time I hear, politicians like Professor Jerry Gana come and speak like that, where you can see that the temperature in the room where Nigerians are speaking, ordinary Nigerians are calling, campaigning, yearning for change. But these guys actually want us to go back to our vomit. We have seen the best that Goodluck Jonathan can give. We have seen the best that Bola Tinubu can give, which is nothing but absolute chaos in the country. But you're telling us to go back to Goodluck Jonathan because you perceive that is a better version than Bola Tinubu. Because you perceive that he has a better idea and respect of the rule of law than Bola Tinubu. When we're talking about us moving from these people who have done their time and we've seen the best they can offer. It is beyond just returning a bag of rice to maybe 30,000 or 15,000 or 10,000. It's beyond that. It's literally revamping the entire Nigerian system. That's what we're talking about. Do you understand? So there are reasons why Nigerians really are in support of Peter Obi, and for those Omoyele Sowore supporters, we're talking about track record of prudence and integrity, which we know during Jonathan's time was lacking. We're talking about a connection with the ordinary Nigerian, which Jonathan's doesn't have. We're talking about youthful and fresh hope, not this renewed shege that Bola Tinubu brought to Nigeria. We're talking about youthful energy. Bring people who are young, who can craft Nigeria in the right direction, not the corruption that was pervasive during Goodluck Jonathan's time, at Buhari's time, and now Bola Tinubu's time. We're talking about competence and policy depth. We're talking about somebody who can sit back, think about Nigeria, where Nigeria can go to, other than what Jonathan gave us and what Buhari gave us afterwards, and now what Bola Tinubu was giving us, double portion of shege. He want us to go back to that last time where it was selfish politicians who were the beneficiaries of the appropriation of the resources of Nigeria, just like Bola Tinubu appropriated Lagos to himself and used that as a pedestal to become the president of Nigeria. You're telling us to leave the symbol of change and move back to the symbol of failure. Was it not the same failure of Jonathan that brought about APC? Was it not about the corruption of the PDP and Jonathan that brought about APC that now has proven to be more corrupt? And you're telling us to go back again to it. So when I hear the likes of Professor Jerry Gana talk, and I feel sorry for Nigeria, that we're in a deep mess. And Nigeria needs a steering in the right direction. Nigeria needs a change. We're talking about a freshness of hope. Listen, in 2023, we knew what happened. The entire world knew what happened. And then we knew that once they rigged the election, Nigeria was doomed. And guess what? Are we not seeing the result right now? We're talking about a president who has no clue what he's doing. And you're telling us to go back to a president who didn't have a clue what he was doing at the time that brought about this current, mishap in our Nigerian system today. What I'm trying to say basically is this. Our politicians, who are the beneficiaries of corruption, are still the same ones who are telling us and then putting the names Goodluck Jonathan, Atiku Abubakar in our faces. We're talking about people with blemishes. People, when you look at them, you see the many faults, inabilities that they possess, that they should never have been our president. But yeah, you're telling us to go back to them. See, this is beyond the bag of rice, the cost of returning the bag of rice back to 8,000 naira or 10,000 naira or 20,000 naira. It's beyond that. We're talking about the revamping of the entire Nigerian political system, the entire Nigerian system, our healthcare system, our education system, our transport system, our every system in how we operate, education. We're talking about everything, the revamping of our institution, our judiciary. You're telling us to go back to Goodluck Jonathan. So what is the reason that you would think that if Goodluck Jonathan defeats Bola Tinubu, that the judiciary that we currently have right now would not be corrupt to say that because Jonathan has been sworn in twice, he's sworn an oath to the Nigerian constitution twice, that he would be allowed to do that a third time? With this corrupt judiciary that we have you forgotten how Hope Uzodinma became governor of Imo State? Have you forgotten how many other politicians became governors and lawmakers? But this corruption that we have in our political system, helped by our corrupt judiciary, what is the probability that will not happen again? So when we're talking about the change that we want in 2027, you have to listen to the demography that has the biggest population, and that's the youth. And they're telling you they don't want these old politicians. We're talking about politicians who are already at the tail end of their lifetime, deciding for us younger people what our future would look like. It's why they've monetized the Nigerian political system, making it so hard for ordinary Nigerians to come in and be part of the political system. Why? Because they are also always the beneficiary of the corruption. That you need their permission to get there to play in that league where they're playing in because they're corrupt. That's the thing that baffles me. That's why I say I feel sorry for Nigeria, because we're falling into the hands of criminals. I'm using the word correctly, criminals. We have the likes of the Wikes, the same person who's been accused of allocating land to his children, seizing people's land and using corrupt judges. We're talking about the same Wike who's been accused of laundering money. We're looking at Yaya Bello, corrupt politicians, people with cases with EFCC, Akpabio. We're talking about people who are, their presence in our leadership position demarcates the nation. We're talking about Bola Tinubu. And then you want to bring back Jonathan again. To what effect? Just for grabbing power? And then we return back to status quo? We've passed that stage. Nigerians need to wake up. That's why 2027 is important. We must not let that happen. Look at what happened with Nepal. They kept quiet until they did not anymore. You must not keep quiet. By 2027, these people will impose themselves on us and they will tax us again and make our life more miserable. So again, put your thoughts, put your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think, whether or not you agree with what I've said so far, whether you not agree with this take on what Nigeria looks like, whether Jonathan is our best bet, or whether Jonathan is better than Peter Obi, or whether you think that Jonathan is better than, Jonathan would defeat Bola Tinubu in 2027. Do you agree with that? Let us know what you think, but please remember to like, share, subscribe if you've not done so, and also click on the notification icon and recommend this channel to others. I will catch you in the next video. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.